Alright, much Abrew time. Playing some Splendid Temur in Standard, and... Oh man, it so depends on the matchup. In the right matchup, this could be fine. I wish we had an enabler, but we can cycle this if we're against, like, zombies, Mardu vehicles, this would be good. If we're up against other decks, though, we're going to try it. Hopefully we're not up against a control deck. If we're up against a control deck, this hand is not very ideal by any stretch. We'll lead on Lumbering Falls. Pass the turn. Opponent. Swamp. Oh, zombies. Zombies. Yes. Yes. We got there. Accidentally getting paid off for this keep, which is pretty spectacular. Opponent gets in for one. This is an interesting one-drop option for zombies. Haven't seen too many Festering Mummies. Guess it's good against vehicles. Kills a reasonable amount of vehicles. Oh. Good lord. What is this, like, super ultra budget zombies? I mean, they are technically zombies. Play the island, pass the turn. World Breaker is nice, because if we can live, it lets us flashback this Kozilek's return, which should be a hard wrath. Okay, combo. Gets back the Festering Mummy with Cemetery Cemetery Recruitment. Draws a card. Oh, the value. Opponent gets in. 4-2. Well, we're not going to Kozilek's return yet. Ooh, Splendid Reclamation. If only we could find some of our graveyard enablers. That would be super sweet. I guess we could discard a land to Lightning Axe and reanimate 2 lands, which does get us to... There's a Diregraph Colossus. Okay. Thankfully, Kozilek's return gets that. And the Festering Mummy. So we'll let our opponent make the 2-2. Alright, this is just zombies with interesting card choices. And now we'll just Kozilek's return, which, pretty good. Eel 3 for 1, something like that. Opponent passes. More lands. I'll play the forest, pass the turn. Lord of the Accursed. Opponent passes. There we go. There's a contingency plan. Hopefully there's a lot of lands on top of our deck, and we can mill them all. Well, this is perfect. Mill. We'll keep Heart the Water Veil on top. Play the land. Well, this is exactly what we're trying to set up. Splendid Reclamation. Get back about 1 million lands, plus 5 mana, 4/4. And pass the turn. Opponent has Corpse Churn. Mills, returns. Crypt Breaker for our opponent. Unfortunately for our opponent, we just get to World Breaker, and that should be pretty much the end. So we draw apart the Water Veil. This does what, 5 damage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, well, play Ether Hub. Get an energy. Play World Breaker. Hit a land. Flashback Kozilek's return. Wrath the board. Kill the land. And now we'll just lumber. And there's a pretty good chance that we can win next turn with Part the Water Veil. Well, our opponent's playing a very interesting build of zombies. They have some of the good cards, and then also just some odd... I haven't seen this very graveyard-heavy build. And pass the turn. Opponent passes. We play a mountain. Awaken, Part the Water Veil. I mean, our opponent could kill it if they have Fatal Push. Opponent's down to 6. We untap. And this should do it. Attack again. And that's the game. Well, that went super well. Our hand was super good for zombies. It worked out super well. I think we bring in Sweltering Suns. We bring in Magma Spray. Could even bring in Thing in the Ice, but I don't even know if we need Thing in the Ice. It seems like all of our sweepers are just so good. Definitely go down to Center's Deliverance, which is the opposite of so good. And I guess we can maybe go down one Crush of Tentacles. Try it like that. What do we do? What do we do? We have Magma Spray, 2 tap lands. We have Kozilek's Return. We're going to keep it. Kozilek's Return just seems so good. I feel like we can keep it just for that. Crypt Breaker. I'll take zombies that die to Kozilek's Return for 1 mana. Sheltered Thicket, pass the turn. Oh, Jeopardy jokes. Does anyone still watch Jeopardy? I think my grandmother does. No, Jeopardy's cool. Why are we talking about Jeopardy? Opponent, main phase, discards Wailing Ghoul. Probably a good thing to do with a Wailing Ghoul, if you have a choice. Ooh, Sanctum. Well, let's just play a Sheltered Thicket. Pass the turn. So what we are missing in this hand is Graveyard Enablers. If we could draw a contingency plan or two to set up the Splendid Reclamation, then this hand just goes nuts. Good news is we have so long to find it thanks to Kozilek's Return. Maybe our opponent's trying to meter out their threats. Well, pieces of the puzzle. Alright, we'll do that. It fills our graveyard, does not find us a land, but hopefully finds us, well, okay. Pieces of the puzzle, Sweltering Suns. Pass the turn. And what are we discarding here? We gotta discard something. I think just World Breaker. Opponent's gonna make a zombie. Another Wailing Ghoul down. We figured out why they're in the deck. They're in the deck to discard and not feel bad about discarding. Opponent. Plague Belchers, kills a zombie, drains us. We're back to needing a land, actually. If we get a land, we can Magma Spray plus Kozilek's Return to sweep the board. Well, let's see if we can go digging. Cathartic Reunion. Discard Kozilek's Return. Discard, I guess, Part the Water Veil for now. Hopefully we have a land in the top 3. Sort of. Sheltered Thicket is a land. Pass the turn. So we're going to take a whoa, opponent did not draw and did not attack. That cannot be correct. Oh, not another. Diregraph Colossus is a 4/4. Ugh. Okay. What is our opponent doing? I am amazingly confused as to what's happening. We do need lands, but we can't take all this damage. We could reanimate our lands and just try to Wrath next turn. We're taking 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's a Lord, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I think we do it. Take our beats. Splendid Reclamation back our lands. Not as much value as we could have had if we waited a couple more turns, but this sets us up to sweep the board one way or another next turn. We can Sweltering Suns plus Kozilek's Return plus Magma Spray, and then likely set up another, hopefully bigger Splendid Reclamation. Opponent draws a card. Sure. The fact that our opponent has not been attacking us has made this much easier. Walking Ghoul makes a zombie, or Wailing Ghoul. Opponent drew a lot of those this game. Mills a couple cards. Festering Mummy. Well, still gonna die with the board sweeping. See if our opponent finally starts attacking. They can hit us for a ton of damage. Alright, now they swing with everything. Unfortunately, the fact that they didn't get in damage earlier is probably going to cost them pretty significantly here. So we're down to... Actually, we're not safe because of Plague Belcher. Alright, so we need to... Pieces of the puzzle. We need to find a way to kill Plague Belcher. And now I think we're actually just dead? Good lord. That took a turn. Yup. Jeez, I was so confident, but our opponent made enough zombies that we couldn't sweep the board. Interesting. Well, I guess that's what we get for missing our land drops. I still feel like this is a 10 out of 10 matchup. Alright, we get to play first. Alright, I mean, mana situation, ultra sketchy, but we do have contingency plans. I don't believe I'm so excited about contingency plans, but hopefully that'll find us lands. Unfortunately, we're going to have to spend our Ether Hub energy on it. Double Nissa's Renewal is excellent. Opponent has a swamp and passes. Well, Sanitarium, oh man. If we somehow whiff on lands here. Contingency plans. Alright, there's all of our lands. That's pretty much exactly what we were hoping for. So I think we mill crush. We're going to keep all the lands on top. We will draw... Let's see. I guess it doesn't matter as long as we draw... I mean, we can even start looting. So Spire Bluff... Yeah. Island last. Spire Bluff first. Other two in the middle. So we get the untapped Spire Bluff next turn. And that also means we can leave up Kozilek's Return. We get to Sweltering Suns pretty quick, our other removal. There's Wailing Ghoul. One of the zombies that does not die to Kozilek's Return. Opponent passes. So Spire Bluff, go. The other question is, do we start looting? And I think the answer is yes. We can probably discard Kozilek's Return here. Plague Belcher. I guess we probably just kill that, actually. So instead of looting, just kill Plague Belcher, discard Kozilek's Return. Also makes this into a useless creature. Opponent passes. Tap land, go. Well, we're slowly building towards these Nissa's renewals, which should put the game out of reach. 2 turns away. Next turn we have another tap land, then untap land for turn 6. Oh geez, opponent has nothing? Well, Lumbering Falls, go. If our opponent's not doing anything, I don't think we start looting here. We know what we're drawing. Yup, alright, well, here comes the mana. Not the way we plan on doing it, but we'll take it. Gain a bunch of life, get a bunch of lands. We'll go Mountain, Island, pass the turn. Up to 26, and then we can start looting. Maybe even cycling this Sweltering Suns. Yeah, okay. Liliana is a lot of value. We will be able to just go over the top of it before too long, but we can't yet. Opponent makes a zombie. Well, Nissa's Renewal, number 2. Running out of basics in our deck. Up to 33, though. Actually, let's cycle Sheltered Thicket. Well, no, we have so much mana it doesn't matter. Let's pass. If our opponent brought in discard, like Transgress the Mind, we'd rather cycle at the end of their turn instead of maybe drawing into Part the Water Veil, Worldbreaker or something. Another zombie for our opponent. Some more milling. Liliana's up to ultimating, but this Liliana not as scary as the other Liliana in terms of ultimates. Yup. Opponent gets in for 3 and 0. Sending the message with the Wailing Ghoul. Well, it's Cycle Sheltered Thicket. Now we're just looking for payoffs. Not Sanctum. That's a payoff. So cast Sweltering Suns. Awaken a Part the Water Veil. Untap. Kozilek's Return. Let's loot main phase. If we draw... Alright, discard Kozilek's Return. We somehow don't have a second green mana. Well, let's just hit Liliana. Down to 1, pass the turn. Would have liked to fire up Lumbering Falls there, but I guess I should have searched out another forest when I was casting all of those Nissa's renewals. Well, upside is we do get to Cathartic Reunion next turn, and most likely drastically improve our hand. That wait. Yup. Making our mountain a little bit smaller. Opponent makes a zombie, mills some more zombies, and passes. Sheltered Thicket. Alright, let's cycle Sheltered Thicket first. And then Cathartic Reunion, discard everything. Contingency plans. Mill land, reclamation. Yeah, we'll keep both. We'll draw Sweltering Suns first. This gives us a bit of protection. How many lands do we even have in our graveyard? 1? 2, 3? Well, I guess we have 4. 4 is not bad. We're not drawing lands. I guess we just Splendid Reclamation now? Might as well. Oh. Gotta wait till our second main. Yeah, I guess we do it. Splendid Reclamation. Gets back a few more lands. I don't think we're going to get too many more, especially since we know we're not drawing any of the next 2 turns, and we're drawing Drawing our sweeper into World Breaker. If we don't need it, we can also just cycle the Sweltering Suns and immediately World Breaker. Taps mana, takes up Liliana, makes a token. More Lilianas. Opponent's out of cards, which is kind of nice. That gets us the no downside loot. So I guess we can just slowly grind our opponent out with World Breakers. Another zombie. Opponent passes. Alright, let's start with Sweltering Suns. And then actually, instead of World Breaker, I think we just Lumbering Falls to kill Liliana. And then we loot now while our opponent's empty-handed. We can discard Cathartic Reunion. Opponent has to draw and discard. Alright, just a land. So I guess that still was good for them. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Still have a lot of Part the Water Veils to find. Plague Belcher, not too good on an empty board. Smaller than our mountain. Well, keep looting. Discard, I guess, Kozilek's Return. Opponent discards Festering Mummy. Play World Breaker. Not going to trigger these Kozilek's Returns. Just hit a land. And then get in with our mountain. Yeah, I don't think the zombie deck at this point has just the power to get back into the game. There's nothing they can play that's going to really match up with what we have on the board, I don't think. Except Deadweight. They do keep making our creatures smaller. Oh boy. That is exactly what we wanted. So now we get to Awaken, Apart the Water Veil, loot with Gaia Reach. Man, it's so good. Oh, and another one! Well, we're in a position where it's unlikely we're going to lose no matter what, but chaining together Part the Water Veils means we're definitely winning here. Opponent takes it to 3. We're not even going to cast it. We could, but it would just be rubbing it in. We're just going to attack. Be merciful to our spicy zombie opponent with Wailing Ghouls. Sweet! Well, that's what the deck is trying to do, and that seems like a super good matchup. Against fair decks that care about our sweepers, feels like it's very hard to lose. Although we did manage to find a way in Game 2 thanks to Plague Belcher. Just locking our sweepers out. Sweet. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, take a second and click that like button down below. It's a great way to help support the channel for free. And you can find the next video in the playlist right here.